So before we get to your scheduled video here, which is the best moments and most memorable moments of Raw from 2011 to 2012, what we want to announce here is the fact we're going to be doing a live Q&A this Sunday. I believe we're going to go for 2 hours, 10 PM until 12 PM British time. I believe it starts at 5 PM Central Time and 6 PM Pacific Time, but I'll put the more specific times in the description box below so you guys in America can tune in and watch this live Q&A.
Because the thing is, I've been waiting quite a while to a live Q&A, because when we're doing live Q&As, more interaction, more flowing to your questions. If your question has not been answered, you can ask it in this live Q&A, so it's going to be very enjoyable, I'm sure.
Indeed, and it doesn't mean we're going to stop doing Q&As, we're going to keep doing Q&As, but basically tune in on Sunday and we will do a live Q&A, and it should be a lot of fun. Bring in all the questions you have, whether it be wrestling related, personal questions you can also ask, I guess, as well.
So it's going to be 2 hours of the British Fist. Come and enjoy us, and we'll make it entertainment for you guys.
Now let's forward you on to your regularly scheduled video. For all of those tuning in thinking that we're going to be doing a Raw review this week, well, quite frankly, we are taking a break from that, as we said in our Sunday video. Quite frankly, we do not want to watch a 3-hour shit show. What we are instead concentrating on this week is something that we haven't really been able to do for quite some time, and that is focus on some positivity in the WWE. In this video, we're going to be talking about some of the best moments that we have witnessed since we've been reviewing Raw, pretty much since the beginning of 2011, all the way up until now.
And at first we were like, oh, we really can cover the very long list of good points. Well, this video will definitely show you.
Yeah, indeed. So we invite you along to this discussion. Give us some of your best moments from the beginning of 2011 to 2012, this current day, on the Raw product. We, of course, are the British Fist. Continuing to review wrestling, even though we're not watching Raw and SmackDown right now. So yeah, some of the good... Raw has always had its highlights, no matter how bad it is. Raw has always had some good stuff happen in it, whether it's unique, whether it's a return. There's always something happening on Raw, even if the whole show and it being 3 hours is pretty crappy right now.
And what I'm going to quickly say is that we have a list here of big points. Yeah. That doesn't mean we haven't had good matches. These are just big moments that stood out for us.
And the big moments theme does continue, but if you have any moments you want to tell us in the comment section below, please do, because this isn't just about our opinions. We also want to get some of your best moments of Raw for your own personal preference. So we'll begin with what I believe was the first sort of big moment for Raw since 2011, and it happened on the Day of Love. It happened on Valentine's Day when The Rock returned to Raw to guest host for WrestleMania, and he cut that really epic promo saying, "You can't shame me," on John Cena. What a great moment that was, seeing The Rock, the Brahma Bull, the People's Champion, returning to Raw in 2011, about 8 years after he last appeared on the show. Great moment.
Well, the fact that WWF is now the WWE, who else better to bring entertainment than the one and only The Rock?
Indeed. I mean, it's like a 20-minute segment. It went on for quite some time. They even went over the overrun because The Rock went on for so long. But it was just great seeing this guy, who obviously is a much bigger star than anyone in the current company. It was just great seeing him back and, you know, announcing him as having some prevalent role in the WrestleMania.
That's exactly what we needed. We needed something that was going to make that night special, the year special, something to look forward to. And The Rock, with his announcement and his future for the rest of the year, was definitely what the WWE needed going on to this year.
Especially seeing as WrestleMania 27 didn't really look that good. 2/21/11 was a date that we had a lot of video packages for, and this is another big moment, and some may say it's a bad moment, some may say it's a good moment, but whenever Triple H and Taker return, it's generally a big moment. 2/21/11, after all that build, all the video packages happened on the 2/21/11 edition of Raw, big moment, Taker and Triple H, two big stars, returning on the same night.
The thing about this is that the video packages, we all love a good video package, even if it's a new debut, a wrestler returning, or just something big coming up for a pay-per-view. And this particular one had so many people talking. Yeah. Yes, many people predicted Undertaker, but Sting was another big name. But this was brilliant, nicely done. You had him return, Triple H return same night, big match, set up the WrestleMania match. So this part of Raw, going to the future, just like The Rock, was a very big moment for this year.
Yeah, then they have that epic silent stare down where Undertaker just goes, just silence there, but telling such a good story in silence. Austin returned to pour beer on Michael Cole on the 14th of March edition of Raw. This was a good moment because everyone hated Cole at the time, and obviously Austin returning is a big moment, but him pouring beer on Cole was a highlight just because it was just so funny.
Well, again, yes, The Rock coming back, Austin coming back, but the Austin coming back was another big name, so bringing Austin back definitely got the crowd alive, got the crowd wanting this, and to come out to Cole, yes, Cole's not a big name compared to other wrestlers, but this added entertainment, this brought something we were finally waiting for, someone other than King and Jim Ross to actually take care of Michael Cole.
And he was announced as a special guest referee for the WrestleMania 27 match, which turned out to be shit, but this was no doubt a good moment on Raw. Remember when Miz disguised himself as The Rock on the 28th of March edition? No, sorry, the 14th of March edition of Raw. God, that was funny when Miz came out and he actually managed to impersonate Rock pretty well, didn't he? That was a good moment. Just seeing Miz dressed as The Rock was just a really nice moment to see, in my opinion.
Well, with Miz's character, I think he definitely pulled this off in a way that you would expect something comedy, something great, some great mic work, and the Miz doing this was comedy. It had somewhat of a meaning following WrestleMania and stuff. So I thought this was very good work from The Miz.
It really was. You also, on the go-home show to WrestleMania, I think the moment when Cena AA'd Rock was a good moment because it was like these two may actually confront down the line. It wasn't just them talking. You know, you had Cena hitting his finisher on The Rock, and then he had that real heel look on his face. I still think going into WrestleMania, that was definitely a big moment, especially once you consider what was going to be happening on the show after WrestleMania.
Well, even though The Rock is a far better wrestler and guy than John Cena, John Cena to actually get some offense on someone as big as The Rock was needed for their feud, needed for their moment. So for Cena to do it, as much as I really do not like it, it was needed and it was a good moment for that Raw.
Speaking of Cena versus Rock, on the next edition of Raw after WrestleMania, the big announcement was made that in a year's time, after WrestleMania 27, we would have a WrestleMania 28 match between Rock and John Cena. Now, that announcement at the time, that was big. That had people talking. That was the first time something like this had ever been done. A match between The Rock, a past legend, versus Cena, the top guy in the current company, being announced 1 year in advance. That was a big moment on Raw.
It was a big moment. Yes, we did have our two sides about booking it in a year in advance, but the fact they had their first match booked for WrestleMania, the fact that it had Cena in the main event, and the fact that it had The Rock going to WrestleMania, feuding with John Cena, The Rock and John Cena made a big match.
Indeed, it's just one of those sort of like big announcements that will last in time, in my opinion. This isn't necessarily a good moment, what we're going to bring up next, but Edge's retirement is a memorable moment, in my opinion, because no one really ever knew it was going to come on the 11th of April edition of Monday Night Raw. A good moment in itself, in the sense that there was so much emotion in that, and we had no idea it was going to happen.
And the fact is, again, Edge being the talker he is, when he came to the ring, he made it really heartwarming. He had his mother there, and he definitely gave the crowd, the fans, the wrestlers, a big special moment.
Yeah.
And the way that Edge described that he would do this all over again, nothing would change. He did this for the fans, he's going to miss everyone. He made it so positive, even though it's a sad moment for the WWE.
And very reminiscent of speeches from Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels. Edge retirement speech, that will definitely go down in my memory as a real memorable moment on Raw. Another memorable moment happened on the build towards Extreme Rules, and that was the heel turn of a certain R-Truth. That was a big moment when he attacked John Morrison. Pretty memorable. John,
I like spiders!
You do? I fucking hate spiders.
Yeah, spiders.
Can't climb up those ladders because they got them spiders down there, and it's a conspiracy theory, man!
Conspiracy.
Oh, what?
Him turning back to a face eventually was a conspiracy because he's a great heel, and this part led to some great moments for R-Truth and for his career.
The R-Truth heel turn was the only memorable thing that happened on that Raw, which I believe was in the UK at the time. Remember when he smoked, and in the UK you can't smoke in public buildings?
No, and the water bottle attacks, R-Truth did wonders here.
Yeah, so we go from one heel turn to next of what I think is a very memorable face turn. For me, one of the more memorable moments of the year was when Alex Riley turned face on The Miz and had that great attack on the 23rd of May edition of Raw. Another, in my opinion, really memorable moment from the year of 2011. Alex Riley, this new up-and-coming star, you know, going back on the Miz, who's been jipping him this whole time. Oh, you can't live up to me. Da 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 da. Face turn, excellent.
We were waiting for this moment a few weeks, months before that, but they lent it for a Raw of a pay-per-view, okay. But this was definitely a moment that Riley fans or people who want to see the future push for Riley. This delivered. This was great. Yes, you could say look at Riley now, but this was a moment so special for Riley's career at that time.
At that time, and the reason why this is so memorable is because they put so much build into it, really, with you know, them being Team Awesome and stuff like that. So another fantastic moment. Alex Riley making it's a shame that WWE haven't made him into something that he could have been since then. Typical WWE. Even in this positive video, no, I would say positive. Another big moment in WWE. And this was another example of a burgeoning star coming forward, was the 27th of June edition of Raw, where you had CM Punk's epic work shoot promo. Just another one of those moments that you just cannot forget in Raw history, and it pretty much set up the biggest angle of the summer, and even though it didn't really go anywhere in the end, it essentially established Punk as a main event guy when previously he was a mid-carder.
This promo definitely got his name out there a lot stronger than his career did, because he did loads of shoots on numerous people in the WWE.
Oh, Vince McMahon. He wanted
Vince,
to die.
Triple H, John Cena. This was really epic. It made him really stand out. The WWE did the right thing by dubbing stuff out instead of going full hardcore attitude stuff. But this, many people, even today, are talking about it because it made Punk the way we see him today.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not the way we see him today, but the way we saw him back then. I think the best thing about this was the fact that it sounded like he was a smart. It sounded like he was one of us, that he was actually the voice of the voiceless, trying to be the voice of the people in the YWC just for one night only. What about, so you had all this stuff with CM Punk happen. After Money in the Bank, when CM Punk takes the belt away, you had that moment on Raw where Vince McMahon comes out, Triple H relieves him of his duty and he's made the COO. Another memorable moment, not just because you're a Triple H mark, but just, you know, the change in the guard on Raw, so to speak. That was another, just a big memorable moment in 2011.
And as we're in 2011, the year that it had its good moments but bad moments, we wanted Vince to eventually show signs of retirement and for Triple H to show his future, for him to be the one to take down Vince. This was an unexpected moment. It brought smiles to people's faces, even if people who do like Triple H looked at this. And this was definitely a big moment because it was the future of the WWE going against the boss.
Yeah, indeed. And the reason why this was so good is because it felt real. You know, the way they were working it to a guy like Vince McMahon and Triple H, who are actually your father and son-in-law, it really did feel very real, which is one of the reasons why this segment came off so well and why at the time a lot of people were like, oh my god, this is real, is this real? Because they told the story so well.
They did, and the way they spoke to each other, yes, Vince even showed emotion crying that, while Triple H had to stand strong. I just thought this was a very good part of Raw.
A tag team was formed in August called The Awesome Truth. That attack on Santino, Miz and R-Truth reunite to go against the conspiracy theory. I think the R-Truth and Miz awesome tag team they had, the Awesome Truth tag team they had, the way that was formed, I think that is another memorable moment on Raw, just because of what they did as a tag team afterwards and how much impact they had on Raw.
As a heel tag team, these two are one that goes after like Raid RKO. These two work really well together. You wanted to see them win, you wanted to see them lose, you wanted to see them break up. There were so many different things for this tag team, and I really feel that this tag team, when they were formed, made a big future tag team.
Yep, and shame they had to break up 3 months later, but that was because R-Truth decided to with Evan Bourne. You know, it took a while after that. It took about 4 months, really, before we could think of another memorable moment. I mean, there are obviously loads of moments involving Punk and etc. But one big moment that stands out to me happened on the Slammy edition of Raw, when you had Kane returning. You know, Kane returning back to his mask character, going after John Cena on the 12-12-11 edition of Raw. A big return. Once again, another return making the memorable moments list.
Again, we spoke this about his brother video packages. When we had this whole coming back with the mask and all this burning stuff, it was very good video packages, really built up Kane. And yes, they already realised it was Kane, but with his return, his future for 2011 for that time was absolutely great. And I'm just saying that for the WWE to put this much emphasis on Kane for this run was very good.
And I think the best thing about it is no one thought it was going to happen. It was very unexpected. It was a massive surprise. In the lead up to WrestleMania, there were a couple of memorable moments there, but I think you had The Undertaker and Triple H being set up. You had But I think the biggest, you had Jericho coming back, obviously, which would be on the worst moments list, of course. But I think the most memorable moments came from a certain guy called Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. One of the memorable moments he had was on the 12th of March edition of Raw when he had the Rock concert. I mean, just a great way to end that show.
Yes, over the Raws, we missed this community Pacific Day. He did have those burial of John Cena, those funny comedy things.
Yeah, those brilliant.
They were really good, but I include this with this because the Rock concert, yes, he had one before, which was really good in Sacramento, but this one, really good. He was going straight into John Cena, got the crowd going at the end, and finished Raw off with a happy smile on people's faces.
And Rock, in this segment, really showed me that he could offer something much more than any star in WWE right now could offer. So, really, the Rock concert. I even thought the Cena Thugonomics stuff was pretty decent.
But it'll probably go in our worst moments of Raw.
I don't think so. I think that will definitely rank there over the Rock concert. So we had WrestleMania 28. We had those 3 epic matches. End of an era, The Rock beating John Cena. We also had Jericho beating CM Punk. And then on the next Raw, we had that really great Miami crowd. And we had the Miami crowd, brilliant Miami crowd, like I said, yes, 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 and all that. Brock Lesnar returned on the 2nd of April edition. What a big moment that was.
I'm going to bring up one negative before I get straight to positive. Every person who comes in, big name, goes up to John Cena, but Brock Lesnar, which is the bad thing. But the good thing is, the way Brock Lesnar did it made the crowd interested. Crowd wanted to see more of this, and it was really something you didn't expect to happen to John Cena for the month or so it happened.
The best thing about it is a big name like Brock Lesnar, he brought something different to the WWE roster. Yes, he went against John Cena, but it got to a point where people were even cheering John Cena because Brock Lesnar was such a badass heel. So the 2nd of April edition of Raw, when Brock Lesnar returned, was one of the biggest moments of the years, in my opinion.
The only thing that spoiled it was the crowd knew it was going to happen. Other than that, it was a very big moment for Raw.
And I think in 2012, NJ, there's not been like many memorable moments that we're going to really remember, but I think a couple of them are involved on the build-up to Raw 1000, the legends returning, when you had like Rikishi, Vader, Psycho Sid, DDP, you had all these guys returning.
Doink the Clown.
Fuck Doink the Clown. But you had all these guys returning, especially Rikishi, in my opinion. That was definitely memorable.
Even though we do want to see more from Rikishi, but they're not doing it. But Rikishi being there brings back the memories of him dancing with Too Cool. Yeah, it was a very good moment. And oh my gosh, Rikishi, come back because you gave us a good moment for Raw.
Yeah, and he danced with the Usos as well, which was like...
Usos, yeah, mate.
Indeed. And I think this really brings us all full circle because... I think one of the best moments of the year, and the final one we'll be discussing in this video, you had all this build up to this Raw 1000 that was going to be happening on the 23rd of July, and the Raw 1000 show, I think, as a whole, in my opinion, as a celebration for 1,000 episodes and being the most, the longest weekly episodic TV show, that in itself, from a Raw standpoint, is a massive moment, and probably one of the biggest moment we had in this whole. The 3-hour show that they had, the stuff they had on it, the amount of planning they put into it, just a phenomenal Raw moment in general as a 3-hour show.
Very true. Yes, after the many years Raws happened, it's good it happened in 2011, which needed big special moments. This was full of them. DX, you had the Hand, you had all this great stuff, The Rock, CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, you had all these great big moments that led to something. And this Raw is obviously going to be the one unforgettable moments for everything that happened in it, and the stuff that hardcore fans that the WWE have had for many years got to see stuff in this show.
I think I will label Raw 1000 as a memorable show, which then made every other 3-hour show after that unmemorable because of the fact it was 3 hours. But we cannot deny that Raw 1000 was a brilliant show, and they put a lot of effort behind it, and it was a great celebration of what Vince McMahon has actually achieved being part of the WWE Empire.
So thank you, Vince!
Yeah, so Raw 1000 is a great moment. All these moments we have on here are fantastic moments. We had less from 2012. We feel there haven't been that many in 2012, but 2011, there was a lot of good moments there. We'd like you guys to give us some of your favourite and most memorable moments on Raw from 2011, the beginning of 2011 to 2012, since we've been reviewing Raw. So get us those thoughts down in the comment section below. I've had a lot of fun doing this, actually looking back and looking at some of the positive stuff, something that I personally, and rightfully so, I think, very rarely do when I'm watching or reviewing wrestling.
The WWE, especially from our point, should make a big DVD about this, because 2011, as you've heard, had so many great moments.
Yeah, and there's a lot of there's actually a lot of DVDs coming out. Attitude Era, NWO, loads of CM Punk Best in the World, a load of DVDs we actually want to get. So, so there we go. That's the best and most memorable moments of Raw that we can come up with. We invite you guys to be part of the discussion by giving us your most memorable moments and favourite moments. Like I said before, in the comment section below. I'll pass you over to MJ now, because I can't really think of anything else to say, but I'm just glad we're not doing a freaking Raw review.
Very true, and hopefully people, you've been supporting as much as we have. Please share your good thoughts about Raw in the comment section below. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching from Mr. Parkin and me, NJ. What's up? Thank you very much, and goodbye.